Hello everyone. This video walks through completing Packet Tracer Assignment 2.3.2.6, Configuring PAP and CHAP Authentication. This Packet Tracer assignment is a part of the Connecting Networks Cisco Routing and Switching version 6 curriculum. Now, in this particular lab assignment, we've got our network over there. We've got three routers, each with, R1 and R2 have a LAN connected to it. You've got a serial connection between R1, R3, R3, R2, and then R3 is kind of like acting like our edge router before it leaves kind of the devices we control and goes to the outside internet. So with the devices we control between R1, R2, and R3, we want to encapsulate the data with PPP encapsulation. And then we also want to add some security there to only allow routers to participate in routing updates and just connecting to us in general with PAP or CHAP. Now, PAP is a little bit older of a technology in that it is also not as secure as CHAP. PAP sends the username and password, and you'll kind of see how it does that. And it does so in plain text. So we really don't like that. CHAP, however, uses an encrypted challenge to make sure the router is who it says it is. So the first thing we're going to do is go to part 2, and we're going to configure PPP as the encapsulation method. Now, if you remember, kind of like before when we started configuring serial interfaces in previous classes, we had to make sure that the clock rate was set and both ends of the serial interface had to be up. If you just turn on R1 side, but you don't turn on R3 side here, it's not going to work, right? Same thing with encapsulation. Both sides of the serial interface need to be in the right encapsulation method. So here, our command is going to be interface serial 000, and we're going to do encapsulation PPP. Now you can do the encap command for short, but you notice it actually takes the interface down momentarily. It loses the EIGRP updates that it's been sending out and everything. So it's just completely down on that one side of the serial interface, which makes it go down on the other side as well. So when we go to R3 here, we've got two interfaces, or actually three serial interfaces to do that for, okay? So on R3, interface S000, encapsulation PPP. We exit out and you see it come back available. Then we're going to do interface 0001, encapsulation PPP. You see it go down. Then we're going to do serial 010, which is that connection has got to CHAP, or sorry, the connection has got to the outside internet, and then we're going to do encapsulation PPP as well. Okay, so that one also goes down. Now let's go to R2. This interface is S001, encap PPP, and you'll see it come back up, okay, on each end between R2 and R3. Now, this one that R3 shares with the outside internet, you got to click inside this internet cloud to actually get to the device, and then you go to the ISP router. And on the ISP router, it is serial 000. So make sure you note that. So here, interface serial 000 on the ISP router, and we're going to do encap PPP. Okay, you see it change back to up because, again, it now matches serial 010 on R3. So we got all of our encapsulation set up, okay? It may take a little bit of time if you're trying to test with the pings before EIGRP reconverges fully, but they tell you, the PC and laptop should be able to ping each other now, once again. All right, you see that's successful. And back and forth, right? So that's now working, okay? Because all of our links came back up. Now, encapsulating it with PPP is fine, but now let's add some authentication for security purposes, okay? First, let's do PAP, which is the older one, okay? Not as preferred, okay? So here we're going to do on R1, and I'm going to show you kind of compare and contrast in a minute. So in configuration mode, global configuration mode, we're going to do username R3 secret class. Now, what do you notice about this? This is setting up a username called R3. This is the other router's information that it's going to authenticate with. So I have to put a local username for the other router to be like, hey, here's my username and my password. Does it match what you have? This right here, the username R3 secret class, is being stored locally on R1. Okay. So now we can go into our interface S000, the one it shares to go to R3 there, and we're going to do PPP authentication Pap. We put the authentication method. It's going to go down momentarily again because we don't have both ends configured correctly. Then we're going to do PPP Pap sent username R1 password Cisco. Now that is going to be for when we configure the other side. So hold on to that thought really quickly, and then we're going to kind of show it again. All right, so then on R3, we're going to do username R1 secret Cisco interface S000 PPP authentication Pap PPP Pap sent username R3 password, and this one was class. Okay, now you see it come back up. Now let's compare these commands really quickly because you have to know what kind of order or which place the local or remote router's information goes. So here on R1, what I did was I configured a local username for R3 so that when R3 sends its information, you see right here it says what it's sending. Ppp Pap sent username. I'm going to send my username to be R3 and my password is class. So that must match here what I have local on R1. Vice versa, I said Ppp Pap sent username R1 password Cisco. I typed that in on R1. So right here, my username must match that and my password. Now I put secret here because that encrypts it just slightly when you do the show run, so it won't show your password there. Okay, so you got to get that order down. On the router you're configuring, you put the local username of the other router in your database with the username command. Then the sent part, you're actually sending your own information to the other router of what you want it to be. So that has to match. Okay, so make sure you get that down. That's probably the most confusing part there. Okay, then it says repeat step 1 to configure R2 and R3. So the links between here. So let's start on R2 first. So we're going to do username R3. Okay. Let's see. Does it say what username it wants to note that each password? No, it doesn't say it. So let's just kind of keep the same thing. R2 is going to have a or R3 is going to have a information of secret class. So username R3 secret class. Okay, I got to put R3's information in there because I got to know if R3 is really who they say they are. Then we're going to go to interface serial 001 is the one that's sharing here with R3. And we'll do PPP authentication Pap. It's going to go down. Then I'm going to do PPP Pap. Sent username is going to be R2, and my password is going to be Cisco here. Okay. Now I'm going to go grab R3. So I'm going to do username R2 secret, and I'm going to use Cisco here. This part, if you notice, must match right here what I was sending my username to be. Okay. Then I'm going to do interface S001 PPP Authentication PAP, Ppp Pap sent username R3, password is class. Okay, and it went back up to upstate. Okay, so we're good to go there. Remember, this username part should be locally with the username command, not under the interface, but locally, it should be the other router's information. So we got to have that correct. And it must match what they're sending. So that also must match. Okay, now we're going to configure CHAP. Okay, and you'll see the differences here. CHAP is between serial 010 and the internet one. So on R3 here, okay, we're going to do username ISP, secret Cisco. Then I'm going to just go to the interface and do Ppp Authentication CHAP. You notice I don't put that sent username in there. The reason is because CHAP uses a challenge, an encrypted challenge to share information. So you don't have to put that sent username part in here anymore. So I'm going to go click on the Internet Cloud, go to ISP router, and I'm going to do pretty much a similar, except for this time I'm doing R3, secret is Cisco. Okay, then I'm going to go under the interface. This one's 000, and I'm going to do Ppp Authentication CHAP. And after a moment, you'll see that come back up. Fast forward time a little bit here. Well, you should see it come back. I don't know if it'll notify you or not, but you see we have 100 out of 100 here now. Okay, so the main differences are just how you configure PAP and CHAP, but they're still very similar. CHAP is technically easier to me because you leave out that sent username step, but with PAP, it's not too much more of a stretch just to put one more command. So you just have to make sure you put the right local one versus the one you're sending. You're always sending your own, that current router your own, but you're always putting in the username of the one you're going to be receiving to check. So that's kind of how I remember it. But either way, that reviews how to configure PAP and CHAP in Chapter 2 for the Connecting Networks Cisco R&S version 6 curriculum. And the rest of Chapter 2, you can view those videos. We go through troubleshooting PPP with authentication, looking at how to do that, troubleshooting serial interfaces in general, and a skills challenge.